Hi, good evening. My name is Stefan, and you've tuned in to a new episode of Migraine International Patient's Perspective. Tonight, we're going to discuss a topic that in our Migraine Buddy group, we ask a question of our members. And the question is, as a migraine sufferer, what are you afraid of and why? If you have no fears, we wanted our members to explain. And this topic got a lot of play from our members, a lot of response. And, some of the responses got the same answers from a lot of the members. And I wanted to go over some of those with you and address a few of them. And I'm going to try to keep this from going too long. One of the number one answers that we got from some of the respondents, and it is a fear that a lot of people with migraines may have with some justification, is about 5 of the respondents responded that they have a fear of stroke, and one of them even characterized it as brain aneurysms. That's why when when you have migraines, that when you have severe pain, especially that throbbing pain that gets so severe that you start to lose your ability to communicate, you lose your ability to speak and to respond to other people, where the pain is so severe that you can't care for yourself, it's very important that you seek emergency help, because what they're going to do at the ER is first they're going to address the severe pain, and then the next thing they're going to do is either do a head CT or an MRI to determine if you could possibly be having one of those events like a stroke, because they're going to try to rule those things out. Now they're also going to look for other characteristics, of a stroke, like, whether your face is sagging or your eye is drooping or things like that. And some of you may have had strokes before you started having migraines. So there's those type of things as well. And keep in mind, Migraine International Patients Perspective and Migraine Buddy Group, we are not clinical doctors or anything of that sort. So anything you hear in any of our broadcasts or any of the posts, we are not medical professionals. We are just a bunch of migraine sufferers that try to share what we've experienced and what we've heard back and forth, in our experience as migraine sufferers. So this is just a share of information. So we try to keep each other up to date on what we found in our own experience. The other comment that I got was that there's a fear that our medications are going to quit. Now, what happens to us is, migraine research for many, many years has not really been an exact science, because each migraine sufferer, each of us are different. We have different physiologies, we have different triggers, we have different medical histories. So our doctors have different educations, so their way of treating migraines can often be different. We have a nurse that's in our Migraine Buddy group who is a migraine advocate, and after her suffering from migraines for a long time, she was invited to a migraine summit. I think she said it was in New Mexico or something like that, and she was really excited to go. She was invited because she's part of a national migraine group of some kind, and she was hoping to have some kind of epiphany, because she was going to this national conference. And she said the really shocking thing was when she got there was no epiphany. There was no almighty cure, that she was expecting to get from this great conference. And in one of our comments, one of the other persons that was expressing their fears was talking about doctors experimenting. That's why they call it practice. The doctors are trying to figure things out as well. So, along with stroke, one of the other respondents to our question, what are you afraid of, is dementia. Now, you figure migraine is a brain disease. If you have migraines long enough, there is a possibility that the types of medications that they feed us year in, year out could wear on your brain. And, I think dementia, though, is a family history type of thing. You have to know what your family history with things like dementia is. And you also have to know the side effects of the types of drugs that they're giving you, and have these discussions with your medical professional. And then sometimes you have to make a choice on whether or not you want to be on those medications. Now, if the medications can dull the pain, are we going to take the pain now to prevent, dementia down the road, or are we going to try to get rid of the pain? So these are always choices you can make. Somebody else, let's see. Oh, yeah. And dementia, the next thing was memory loss. One respondent said they're afraid that of friends and family seeing them decline because of memory loss. And, that goes right in there with dementia. So, there were a lot of comments about friends and family and significant others. There were a few respondents that said they were worried about loss of a significant other, whether it be husband or wife, and they're afraid of commitment because of their migraines, worried about divorce, intimacy, and those types of things, missing out on lifestyle changes because of constant pain, not having a life, depending on your level of pain, your frequency, things like that. It's a very real concern. I've been sick for the last 2 weeks. I have had a constant migraine for about 10 days, and it's not my norm. I was really sick, but I had a lot of coughing and things like that, and if you're already a migraine sufferer, if you're doing a lot of heavy coughing, that's really not a great thing when you're a migraine sufferer. But anyway, back to the family dynamic. We all know that some of us have great families, like my wife is really understanding, and she's very helpful. When she knows that there are certain tells that she just knows that I've got a migraine going. But it's not that she doesn't ever get frustrated, but it's like, every once in a while she'll say something like, we don't ever go anywhere, but we try. But there are those that have significant others that, may divorce, may leave the family, get abusive, things like that. And it's a very unfortunate thing when you lose a significant other over a health issue. But, not just migraines, but other health issues, whether it's cancer or any other chronic disease. We've heard about this type of thing before, and it's very unfortunate. But there's the other things like weather and wind. And some people said something about the inability to fly on an airplane. And I get that. My wife had a problem one time with had an ear infection and went up. We went up in an airplane and she had a real problem coming down. Now she doesn't have migraines, but for one of us, not being able to release that pressure and having migraines would be just brutal. And I know that weather changes for me are not a very good thing. And somebody said life dominated by migraines. Yeah, it's when you have a stretch where you don't seem to be able to get out of that cycle, it's time to talk to your neurologist and see if there's a way to break that cycle. You know, you have to make sure that you're doing things like staying hydrated, staying away from caffeine, make sure your blood sugar is constant, and consistency is one of our biggest friends or enemies. If we don't get the same amount of sleep every day, get up at the same time, go to bed at the same time, get enough rest, don't spend as much time on the smartphone or the TV. I mean, there's just certain controls that are very difficult to do in our lives. And someone mentioned being caught without your rescue medications. We should all have an emergency kit, and maybe I'll do that episode again where we talk about emergency kits. If you want to go back through my videos, just go to the top of our Migraine Buddy page, and in the search bar, just search emergency kit, and we've already done a video about that. Or you can find that on my YouTube page. But these are some things that just from one question on our page, that we put that question out there and we got a tremendous response. And I want to thank everybody that responded. But it's up to us to advocate for ourselves, talk to our medical professionals, and when you have things like family, you really do have to advocate in advance with family, with employers, and with anybody else, friends, and try to do it when you're not suffering. Go to them and say, look, I have this issue. It comes up from time to time. I don't always know in advance, but I want you to please understand that I do the best I can. I try to work through things, and it's not something that I enjoy. And here's how you can help me. Give them a way to help you in advance. Here's what I need if I go down, and here's where my phone numbers are. Here's where my medication is. Here's where my ice pack is. Here's who to call if I can't do it, etc. So make sure that you have a plan for them to help you. And if you do that, they might feel engaged and actually feel better about it. So I'm hoping that you guys got something out of this, and feel free to comment, like, subscribe, and hopefully we can all do better in the future. So again, my name's Stefan. This is Migraine International Patient's Perspective, and I look forward to hearing your comments. Thank you and have a great day, guys.